Evening, everyone. Welcome again to another Tuesday brokers briefing. Okay, so tonight I'm happy. Medyo marami tayo ngayon because very important, no? We're gonna discuss very intensive topic about our profession as real estate professionals. So we come up another series of 2 months, no? Parang 8 episodes. So how to help our profession as a real estate broker and agent. So tonight we invited in online nag-join majority 90% are licensed broker, but we also invited mga accredited agents kasi kumbaga using third party help me to help you explain it to your teams, lalo na yung mga accredited agents. Okay? So, tonight topic medyo maganda. Again, good evening everyone. This is your broker Samuel Lau. So, welcome to another PHMLS Tuesday Brokers Briefing. Title for tonight topic is the Professional Brokers Protection Framework. So, ano ito? So we divided the presentation into two major topic, but the objectives tonight after next 30 minutes we're gonna open a major Q&A. So I expect you pag may mga tanong kayo every slide, continue muna yung discussion natin, but para hindi nyo malimutan yung mga questions nyo, kindly type right away in our chat box, okay? And later, babalikan natin yan later part, no? So, tonight, bago matapos, ito yung mga topics matutunan natin, no? By the end of the sessions, participants will understand the minimum validation protocol before marketing. Kasi ano ba yung mga protocol bago natin i-advertise yung property? Kasi akala nila enough na yung may ETS tayo, then we advertise right away, no? So pag-usapan natin yan. Identify major legal and professional risks in a premature posting. Recognize why authority to sell is a legal protection to all brokers and agents. It is not just a formality, but it's a legal protection to us. I'm gonna give you a good case study for that. Learn how to prevent commission dispute, not only with your property owner, seller, and you as a listing broker, but with co-broker, seller side and buyer side. Pag-usapan natin yan. Position exclusivity as a structured marketing. Mas maganda, no? How to get an exclusive listing to have a good control. Elevate brokerage standard through a system-based practice. So ito yung mga magandang topic na we will discuss. Ito yung tonight. So basic two foundation in our professional brokerage. I even invited my colleague tonight, no? Sabi ko, very important ito. Palagi na lang itong nagiging hot issue pagdating dito, no? Kasi kasama yung pinaka-broad na word, due diligence matters, no? It matters a lot. So, number one, let's start with validate before you market. Number two, authority to sell. So your first protection. So we limit our topic for this tonight, okay? Number one, validate before you market. The hard truth to all brokers, no? The fastest way to damage our reputation is to market a property that should never have been marketed. Ano ba yun, Sam? Kasi not all broker, not all agent perform proper due diligence on their listing property. Nakakuha lang sila ng authority from their client and then automatic they shared it, no? Without, number one, the basic due diligence start from the seller side. Pag I ask broker A, sample lang to ha, okay, actual case na lang ito. There's a senior broker in practice. Siyempre tayo broker to broker, medyo a little bit nahiya din tayo magtanong, broker A, did you perform due diligence? Is it property legally feasible to sell before you posted it in our MLS, no? Siyempre sabi niya, Sam, don't worry. Parang sinabi na lang no na I'm more senior on you in terms of practice. Hindi ka pa broker, I'm already a licensed broker. Okay. I've been this and yung seller is my very close friend. Again ha, is my very close friend. In reality, I trusted that broker. He submitted to me the documents. Sa buyer side broker naman, we don't do our second round of due diligence hanggang wala tayong buyer, serious buyer, no? Shortcut the deal, nagkaroon tayo ng serious buyer, nag-travel yung buyer natin, tinignan yung property, nung nagka-interest ang buyer natin, and then we make an offer and we do our first round of due diligence as a buyer side based on the documents submitted by the broker from the seller side, the listing broker. And doon na lang namin nalaman na may concern pala among siblings kasi this is a liquidation of state asset, no? Patay na yung registered owner, mga anak na lang. And these are prominent people in Cebu. Nagkataon lang na not all siblings are willing to sign. May mga dispute, away among siblings. So, kung sana broker A, he go deeper on the due diligence, yung side niya, nalaman sana niya na hindi pala ready feasible to sell kasi may dispute pa, may mga hindi pa napagkasunduan ang mga siblings. So marami pa akong case, I'll go that. But the point here is para hindi masira reputation natin na nagpakilala tayo expert in the industry or etc. etc. Yun pala may kulang-kulang sa trabaho natin, di ba? Parang mahiya tayo sa mga colleague natin in the industry. Parang pinagod natin yung colleague natin, exchange co-broker natin, no? So akin lang is let's perform properly our job as a real estate broker. Bago tayo magbenta, we need to secure all those certified true copies, initial documents that we need to check if there is mga liens, annotation, etc., etc., no? And we need to interview properly yung ano natin, yung kliyente natin, the seller, the property owner. Okay, we have more on that, okay? Now, why broker get into trouble? This is the very basic things, no? Na nagkaproblema ang mga broker, pati na mga ahente, no? Mga enterprising agents, etc. Again, the reason I'm inviting yung mga enterprising agents, meaning, allow me to share, call you, tag you as enterprising agents, meaning not even an accredited RESP, no? Not ayaw magpa-under ng collaborate supervised under a licensed broker. The reason I'm inviting you because I want you to see the reality, understand na hindi ganun kadali na you able to see a property for sale, kahit pinsan nyo yan, and you endorse it to us, sabihin nyo 50-50 kaagad. Because it's not that way. Number one, you are not registered salesperson. We are the real estate license practitioner. Lisensyado namin nakataya pag may problema ang transaction because we are the broker on record on this transaction. So I'm not talking only myself. Tayong lahat, careful tayo mga licensed broker. If we tolerate and not educate our partners na mga accredited agents or mga non-accredited agents, kahit accredited agent pa natin yan, if we are too relaxed, we trust too much, pag nagkaroon ng problema, who is the liable? Is it our accredited agent or tayo as supervising broker? Di ba? Tayo, the supervising broker. And these are the common scenario. We fail to properly due diligence na we've been talking to Mr. A. Yun pala si Mr. A, it's not the registered owner. Isa lang siya sa anak. And then, 7 siblings. May anak pang 2 sa labas, total of 9. But 3 sa kanila ayaw magbenta. So that's a big problem. So how will you know that? You need to interview, you need to host a group meeting to all of them or possible online meeting para you can hear, hindi lang puro SPA lang pinakita. Yun pala, fake yung SPA na pinalabas ng isang siblings. He said, I am authorized by 3 of my brother and 1 sister. Yun pala, gawa-gawa niya lang. So you need to create an online, kahit sinabing US pa yan, to validate, verify those SPA, yung attorney in fact being, as attorney in fact siya of that transaction, no? Unsettled heirs. Sabi ko nga, benta tayo ng benta, yun pala, mga unsettled, no? Mga estate tax, hindi pa nabayaran, and then etc. etc. It's part of us broker to address that problem, but of course, it's not part of our 5% commission. Wag natin pakyawin yung trabaho, no, na sabi nga datanan. If it is it, 'di ba, we charge PF for state settlement. Even they go to the lawyer for extrajudicial settlement, may bayad sila sa lawyer. Bakit pagdating sa atin parang bundle na sa service natin na 5%? So in my firm, we don't bundle that one. We assist but we charge separately because they cannot sell the property if it is unsettled pa yung estate nila, no? So it could be judicially or extrajudicial settlement. That's one service. Another service ang pagbenta once it is legally feasible to market na. Wrong lot size. Very basic. How will you know pag may problema yung, as a seller side pa tayo ha, how will you know na may problema kung hindi ka nagkuha ng certified copies? Doon mo lang nakita na may adjustment na sa tax deck number tsaka sa title di na nagmatch. Okay, I'll give you a good scenario in Naga, Cebu. I'm representing on the buyer side. Sorry. I'm representing on the buyer side. And then may nakita kami na pinorward sa akin from the seller side documents, scan copy, Xerox, sabihin natin. Title number, tsaka tax deck number, okay pa. When we validate all the numbers, it's consistent. But when we get a certified copy, doon namin nalaman na yung tax deck number, ang lot area nagbago, nag-minus 2 square meter. Bakit ba nag-minus 2 square meter? So when we go deeper on the traceback, doon lang namin nalaman na nag-widening pala yung yung road, tsaka yung property since kanto, sharp, ginawang curve para hindi mahirap lumiko, no? So yung nabawas na ginawang curve, para it's easy to turn right, vice versa, is around 2 square meter. So in-adjust automatically ng taga-assessor. Okay naman yun. It's a good naman para mabawas sa RPT tax niya. But hindi lang na, kumbaga siguro nalimutan sa seller or not informed. But bottom line, naayos naman. We have it adjusted talaga. Okay, so the only thing you know that if you really honest enough doing your perform as a broker agent, you do proper due diligence, no? Doon mo na lang malaman na meron palang mga titled na may annotation. Ang binigay na photocopy, super linis. Pero nung naalaman mo na lang, may annotation pala. Kaya even in a 3 months transaction, hindi naman madaling mag-close ng brokerage, no? In a 3 months transaction, you get a certified copy. In common practice, before you do final payment on the whole, let's say nag-earnest money ka January, and then you get 60 months or 60 days due diligence or 90 days because may hinintay pa tayong documents. May is the final date for the full payment and deed of absolute sales. It is always advisable to secure latest within 30 days. Kumbaga, kahit 1 week before finalization, kumuha ka ulit ng bagong certified true copies of title and tax deck. Why? Bigla na lang may nag-annotate, at least malaman mo. Then we also have experience na yung title clean walang annotation. But yung tax deck may annotation. So it's another case no on due diligence. But again, doon mo lang malaman yan if you really secured a certified. Kaya nga sabi ko sa mga enterprising agent or accredited agent, it's not easy. It's not just a simple get an ETS and then you submit it for collaboration. You need to do the basic things. Before you sell, kumbaga, bago ka magbenta ng pagkain, you need to make sure tama ang ingredients mo, tama ang luto mo, or else baka masuka yung kumain, babalikan ka, no? So instead yung purpose natin kumita, baka magiging liable pa tayo and kulang na kulang pa ang kita natin pag na-sue tayo, no, legally. Okay. Now, no right of way, it's also common problems. Why? Because we honestly marami pang broker, marami pang agent, they don't know. Pumasa na, but nakalimutan na. Sino pa dito marunong magbasa ng technical description on title? Pag binasa mo yan, malaman mo na kaagad if the property is bounded by road or not bounded by road. It's so easy, no? Pag binasa mo yan properly. So if it's not bounded by road, it's all bounded by lot number. So question ka na. Pag wala kang nabasang road or subdivision road or ano, no? Question ka na. Pero it doesn't mean wala. Baka yung one side yan, bounded by that lot number 105-sample 105-A, that is a subdivision road. So, you need to make sure, okay? Hingin mo yung certified or kumbaga may approved subdivision sila and you can also due diligence cross-check yan with a copy on your DNR. Okay? Tax declaration inconsistent, nabanggit ko na. Zoning, land use, okay? Very important, let us say, before you sell the property, karamihan nakasulat doon residential, but binenta mo for commercial, binenta mo for industrial, which is very common in Mandawi area. People are looking for industrial in the area. Suddenly, yung inoffer mo residential, yun pala, hindi siya pwedeng land use reclassify into industrial. So, lagot tayo, no? So, at saka it's also very wise, smart move na bago natin ibenta yung property, let us say I encounter in San Fernando recently. I visited the property. I make a blog about that, no? Physically, when I visit the property, I think I can sell it to my client looking for residential. Check. Now, I sat down for the documents. When I check the documents, the land use classification nakasulat is agricultural pa. So sabi ko sa group on the seller side tsaka sa owner, please, kasi I'm on the buyer side. So I let them work muna, no? Hindi ako magtrabaho for them. I let them work first. Sabi ko, you get a copy, certification, punta kayo sa LGU, tingin nyo ano ba yung land use in this area, pwede na ba ito ma-convert? Kasi agri, no? Pwede na ba ito ma-convert into residential? Or pwede ba ito ma-convert into industrial or commercial? So 2 weeks after, bumalik sila and they said to me na they spoke already in the LGU in the planning office and then sabi nga the area is now zoned as residential industrial zone. Okay, so but verbal yun eh. Sabi ko, can you please secure a written certification that this lot area so and so is now can be reclassified into, para when I present it, when you sell it to a real estate residential developer or you sell it to industrial, pag na-shock kita siya, Sam, you're selling it to me and it's residential, then you follow with another certification from the LGU that the area is now land reclassify or CLUP or zone as industrial. Okay. So when we buy this one, we can reclassify. Or when we buy this one, we can reclassify into residential. So very important ganyan. Or else, liable tayo. I have another example na may bumili ng lupa, industrial zone sa agricultural area. So, humingi ng tulong yung buyer. Sabi ko, sana yung ano mo, sana yung broker at saka agents mo for this property na 20 hectares. Di na daw niya makontak. Then ang lagot is the LGU did not approve the land use na gawin nilang industrial zone. So, ano nangyari? Isipin nyo na lang. Nag-invest sila ng 20 hectares. So, whose fault? From the start, sinabi ng buyer, we're looking for 15 to 20 hectare for industrial use. We broker, we agent offer it to them with a promise based on their mandate. Yun pala, we did not perform properly our due diligence and they, buyer, invested but failed to use the property because of the land classification from agri, hindi pwedeng gawing industrial. So very careful tayo. From the seller side pa lang, you need to know anong pwedeng gawin sa property. And that if you gonna study that well, that can help and scale up also. You being a professional practicing, no? Alam mo na kanino mo i-alok kasi alam mo pwede siya maging residential, pwede siya maging industrial. So you can now identify sino yung potential buyer mo, no? So when you offer it with your fellow co-broker for MLS, if you offer it to me, alam ko na din na agree, but since pwede siya maging residential or industrial, I have now option to check my database of buyer for residential and for industrial. I hope malinaw ito, no? So, how many years, ilan sa atin ba dito naka-experience ng problema with some of these things that I mentioned? Marami pa yan, no? But some of these things lang. Very important. Lalo na right of way. Pero pag-usapan natin yan, marami pang ibang topic yan. So, the minimum validation protocol from the start, so marami kasi yung due diligence. Ano ba yung basic? You always start with a proper interview process. Di ba? You contact Mr. Juan de la Cruz, call you, hello broker A, I have a property. Are you willing to help market my property? Yes, Mr. Juan de la Cruz, I'm a broker, so that's my profession, that's my job to help, no, market. Okay, you need to know what is the interview process. Ano yung mga tamang questions na itatanong mo? Tsaka ano yung mga basic documents na initial, hindi pa yung final, initial for you to run your first round of due diligence. Okay, so I think I did not post here the proper interview, but you check my Facebook. I have a blog about tips how to interview property owner or seller. So it's just a 4 to 5 minutes blog, tips how to interview property seller. Okay, I think I posted that early this morning, no? I made that blog because I have a client yesterday, mga seller, and I said, ang hirap turuan, no? Mas bright pa sila, ayaw magpaturo. Sabi ko nga, for my frustration, I make that blog para everybody can listen on it, no? Okay, but again, for this tonight, let's talk about minimum. Siyempre, when we sell property, una-una natin kukunin is yung mga documents, no? Is ito, scan copy of the title, then scan copy of the tax deck, para what? So that we broker, we agent, as a seller side, we can now do our first round of due diligence. Karamihan sa atin, we get this ATS, we get this title, we get this sketch plan, we get this tax deck. After that, we market na kaagad. Question, is it clean title? Is it free of any liens? Is it legally feasible to market na? What if, sinabi ko ngayon, Mr. Broker B, clean ba ang title? Wala ba yung mga annotation? Wala sir, Xerox copy binigay o clean sabi ng seller. Have you checked it? Have you get a certified copy? Wala pa. Tsaka na lang pag may buyer tayo. Always ganun tayo, di ba? Pero sa totoo lang, ganun ba talaga? Sabi ko nga, ingat tayo sa profession natin. Baka mapasok, masayang, no? So before we market, we need to make sure it is legally feasible. Dapat malinis yung title. It's clean of any liens, encumbrances, etc. Pag may liens nakita tayo, we need to interpret it. Pag hindi natin kaya, it's legally jargon. So we need to ask the property owner, bakit meron mga annotation encumbrance dito? sino ba to? Ano ba tong case number? You ask the seller, no? The property owner. Or you ask the lawyer. Sino ba lawyer mo dito to interpret, no, properly? Then, check, no? Certified true copy. So, registered owner, verified. Diyan pa lang, malaman mo din sino pa yung registered owner. Baka luma na yun, napalitan na, no? Check annotation. Check mortgage or my liens. Minsan may mga mortgage sila lang ang nagpasulat, nagpa-annotate kasi may mga personal reasons. So you need to listen. Case, lalo na yung mga Rule 74, no? Kung extrajudicial dati yan. Let's go to seller authority. You need to check. Being a seller, sir, if you don't mind, so kunin mo yung full name niyan, everything, and you need to validate it also. You need to visit the place. If you are familiar, part of your due diligence, baka yung nag-represent na seller, it's a fake identity and a stolen identity, no? Mahirap na. And you are representing. Sabi nga, nangyari na yan sa amin, no? Seller group, nagpakilala na si Junior is the attorney-in-fact of Maria, the registered owner. The broker, I will not mention name, he is from Cebu Broker, and a group of enterprising agent niya na hindi accredited agent, but si broker is the broker on record on the seller side with ATS, signed by that Junior as attorney-in-fact of Maria, the registered owner. But these enterprising agents group are professionals, even teachers in a university and a businessman. Okay, long story short, pinakilala nila na si A. So when we validate A talaga, they concluded na si A is the attorney-in-fact. So earnest money pa naman yun. It's masyadong one of my associate broker masyadong kumbaga lenient pa masyado earnest money. So once we put earnest money, so we have 60 days due diligence before we do final payment. When we run our round of due diligence as a buyer's side, including to validate the identity of the seller, the registered owner, and the attorney-in-fact, doon namin nalaman the attorney-in-fact that being presented to us by the seller group, including by that broker on record, is a fake person. How do you know? When we validate the ID and a driver's license, LTO ba yan? Yeah, LTO. Lumabas doon not the same person. Tama ang pangalan, but ang mukha, identity is totally different, no? So, when we go back to the seller group to recover the earnest money, they said also, we are a victim also some. Hindi pala namin, kumbaga, na biktima, hindi daw pala nila alam na fake yung si Junior. So, kaya, seller side, be careful. No, it's not easy. It's a true story yan. So, we go after and we tend to file case on that seller group to recover the money. So that's our experience. Kaya very cautious tayo na ang kausap nating seller, it's really the seller. Okay? Tsaka yung FSPA niya, it's really valid. Kahit nasa abroad pa yan, you can always do Zoom online call, validate the principal issuing the SPA and validating everything, no? Your lawyer, your legal team can help you. Tax declaration is so important because you need to know na updated ba sila? Baka i-auction na yan sa LGU, no? So, those thing, no? Okay, technical description versus actual, very important. Kasi there's a property in Naga na siya seller, hindi niya alam na may encroachment pala. Not only, kaya hindi siya nabenta for how many years until now? Kasi may encroachment sa labas, widening na bawasan. On the left, may encroachment. On the right, may encroachment. Sa likod, may encroachment. So sabi nila, hindi alam namin pero hindi namin tinabaho. Hayaan na namin hayaan na daw nila si buyer. They just wanted to sell it as is where is. Diba? Pero doon ko na lang nalaman when I did my due diligence as on the buyer side. kasi we request for a relocation survey. And it's not easy to negotiate left and right and back, no? Mga adjacent pader na yan eh. Okay, so honestly, it hindi natuloy yun. But seller side, been marketing that one almost a year. And I myself, I collaborate for 4 months. Sayang, di ba? Imagine your time and effort as a broker, as an agent working to sell that property na hindi pa pala legally may problem. You need to, from the start, you need to know ano yung mga problema. Okay? Importante dito, transparency. So the real risk without validation is the commission loss, reputation damage, legal exposure, co-broker conflict, buyer distrust. Okay? Sabi pa nga nila, Sam, co-broker conflict. Okay, ito, ganito sample ha. Sam, sabi ni broker A ha, seller side, Sam, don't worry. Basta sabi ng friend ko, 5% bigay niya sa atin. Okay? Okay, 5% tayo, di ba? Okay, let's ink now a co-broker agreement, 50-50 tayo sa 5% commission. Signed by both party. We close the deal ngayon. Magpapadala na ako ngayon ng collection on my share 50% on the 5%. Sino trabaho mag-collect sa commission from the seller side? Di ba si listing broker? Ngayon, in the absence of whatever legal documentation, nag-default si property owner, instead of 5, 3 lang bigay ko kasi nagtawad pa yung buyer, etc. etc. daming reason. So, I myself, I can always insist on our broker agreement, you confirm 5% and you need to honor that one. Give me my 2.5. I can be matigas ulo, no? But of course, we are a person only. We also understand. But you as a seller side broker, kaya nga nandoon yung ATS mo para to protect you on that the same problem that I mentioned to you, no? So commission loss, reputation, etc. And then you can reason out some, honestly, my agreement is 5 pero binigyan lang tayo. Pero kung verbal lang yun, then you guaranteed to me, then suddenly, so anong papakita mo? Anong pinanghawakan mo? So yun ang problema. So hope we understand this topic. So marketing is exposure. We market para makita to other brokers, to our clients. Validation is our protection. Okay na? Validation before we sell is our protection. Protection must come first. Kaya sabi ko, of all enterprising agents, it is one of my blog few days ago. Sabi ko nga, lahat tayo, we want to make money. So, I always example, a bookkeeper wanted to make money. Ang galing mag-bookkeeping, gumawa ng financial report. But their documents is always reviewed and certified, signed by a licensed accountant. Ang daming legal secretary, ang galing gumawa ng affidavit. But their legal work is reviewed and signed, notarized by a licensed lawyer. Ang daming draftsman, ang galing mag-drawing, architect style, pero must be reviewed and signed by architect bago tanggapin ng mga ANI, LGU, and all those other PRC profession. Tayo lang ang unique, no? Very unique. Sabi nga ng taga-PRC when I asked them 2 months ago, kasi bago profession natin, saka hindi pa finalize IPO natin. Okay, accepted. Pero sabi ko sa mga enterprising agent or saka mga accredited agent, every work we have, every opportunity we have, we are open to give you livelihood in real estate. But our prayer is you always work with your trusted broker. And anywhere in the Philippines, there's always a licensed broker. So hanap ka lang ng broker na you're comfortable to work under his or her supervision para legal lahat ang trabaho and you will be protected. And then I myself, we ourselves, if you submitted it in an MLS, with your broker, it's easy for us broker to broker as agreement and you work under your broker. Kasi sa MLS natin, dalawa lang yan. Buyer side, seller side, and it's always 50-50. So if I am on the buyer side and I have a team bibigyan from my buyer group, amin na yon. Kayo naman sa seller side, broker A, if you have tatlong ahente sa baba, kayo na rin yon. Walang kayo, basta under the co-broker agreement, it's 50-50. Buyer side, seller side. Okay? It is understandable, let's say in the Aluginsan, Sambuan, wala namang mga practicing licensed broker in the area. But if I have a client looking for a beachfront property, syempre, I will use my own property researcher or mga enterprising agent ko na ahente na ang sisipag talaga maghabal-habal or mag-bike papunta doon just to look for property, di ba? Honestly, tayo broker, a little bit tamad tayo pag 2 hours, 3 hours biyahe. But these people, bigyan mo lang ng allowance, they go. But what is important, I am the broker on record and I supervise the deal. So if you do it also, if you're an agent on that area, it's okay to do livelihood. But every transaction, you need to report it to your broker on record. It's easy, no? So let's create more topic about that to enhance the collaboration between the enterprising agents and the licensed broker. Kasi not all agent wanted to be accredited agent. Sabihin, Sam, ang tanda ko na. Sam, I'm a kagawad in the municipality. Sam, I'm an LGU officer. So, but I can refer you because I know all these people, property owners. I'm a barangay captain, no? Sa inyo na lang yan. We cannot pressure them, but we can always advise them. All my co-broker, let's use this common language. Let's invite them to collaborate with a broker so that we can supervise all their activity. I have also a transaction nakita ko. Very proud si agent. Na-meet ko sa coffee shop, ha? Hi, Sir Sam. Oh, what are you doing? Sir Sam, we are dealing here. We're closing deal. Oh, congratulations. Pero hindi ko nakita yung broker niya. Di sila lang. Hindi pala alam ng broker nila that they are selling, no? Okay. Akala nila being a accredited real estate salesperson, they have already the rights to do real estate. Nagmo-moonlighting without the supervision of their broker. So, nagkaroon siya. Sabi ko nga, nakikinig ngayon, I will elaborate yung mga ahente-ahente tsaka accredited agent. Let us say, very proud, Sam, I have an ETS. Okay, this is actual example in Balamban, Cebu. Ito na lang. Due to my blog in my FB, a lady called me up, Sir, nakita ko yung blog mo about this and that. I need your opinion, advice. O ano yun, ma'am? Okay. So she explained na she able to have an authority to sell from a family friend in Balamban, liquidating the asset. Extrajudicial sales pa. Okay. Ang promise commission, pag-usapan na natin, sample is 100. Pag sample, 1 million. Supposed to be under the ETS daw, tsaka notaryado pa yung ETS niya. Okay. Kaso sir, ang nangyari nung ma-close deal na namin, nalaman ng isang kapatid na seller na I'm not a licensed broker. Then, hindi nila ako binigyan ng what being promised in my ETS. So they just give me a finder's fee worth 200,000. And I want to go after with them based on our notarized ETS. Okay. And then, pagbasa ko sa ETS, pangalan lang niya, wala man lang yung licensed broker niya. So sabi ko, ma'am, I'm not a lawyer, but on the legal side, I might be right or I might be wrong. Ano yung ikakaso mo sa kanya? To claim the sum of money, my real estate commission, no, as promised. Ma'am, di ba nabanggit na ng kapatid na hindi ka binigyan ng tamang commission kasi they know you're not a licensed broker and that's why they are giving you only a finder's fee, 200,000. So meaning alam ng kapatid ang law. Baka ibalik sa iyo. Instead you suing them, they will sue you practicing real estate without a license or without the supervision of a broker. So, kaya sabi ko sa mga enterprising agent, kasi ayaw ng mga enterprising agent daw na masulat ang pangalan ng broker, baka matabla sila, hindi na sila mapasama sa transaction. But this is very important. Sa lahat ng ATS, kung ikaw naghanap, like on my firm, agent A ang nakapag-scout ng property. So on our ATS, nandoon ang pangalan ng agent A tsaka pangalan ko as a broker. So format ko, this is to authorize Samuel Olaw, the firm of Samuel Olaw and Associates, and agent. So nandoon yung pangalan ko, nandoon. Tsaka I'm the one in behalf of the property owner, tsaka ako ang pumirma sa ATS. And si agent na kasama sa itaas, isa siya sa witness sa baba. Para pag may problema, I myself as a license on record on that transaction, on that ATS, I'm the one can go after to the seller. Pag ayaw magbigay ng tama or pag may problema, ako din ang lagot because I'm the on record license broker. Pero paalala ko sa mga non-enterprising, ang mga enterprising agent saka accredited agent, kumbaga pag hindi nyo sinama yung license broker nyo on your transaction, who will depend you in the future pag may mali? So, it's been happen, nangyari na sa amin several times. I see several, I think 3 times na or 4 times na parang ganun, no? So, even they are my agent, accredited agent ko pa. But I myself, it's my principal also. Kasi dami ko nang na-train na ahente, accredited agent ko pa. After they learn, they are doing moonlighting. And then, nagkaroon ng problema on the middle, and they approach me, Sir Sam, tinabla tayo sa commission natin. I need your help. Ganito, sayang 2 million yun, tagwititig 1 million tayo. Hindi ko alam May transaction pala tayo. In my ethics of practice, I don't want to come in on the middle. Just like you don't want me to come in biglaan na lang. Just like we deal dalawa tayo. Suddenly on the middle, biglang sabi, 4 tayo, di ba? We don't want that way. So, if you don't want, don't do it also, di ba? Golden rule. So, atin lang, again, enterprising agent, accredited agent, anywhere you are in the Philippines, because this would be live soon in my YouTube, work with a licensed broker kung saan ka hiyang komportable. Sooner hindi ka komportable kay broker A, then you resign properly and look for broker B. Just like a bookkeeper working with a licensed accountant, no? My example earlier. So, hope we elaborate and share more info about this one already. So, let's go to topic number 2. Authority to sell. Your first-hand protection, no? Coffee muna. Dangerous assumption. Many broker assume verbal agreement is enough. Just like I mentioned you earlier, broker A, kamag-anak ko, kaibigan ko yan, Sam, lumaki kami pareho. Pinsan ko yan, Sam, okay. Latter part, nagkaroon ng problema. Okay? Owner will honor commission pag may black and white. Pag walang black and white verbal, they can always argue na, sorry I will not give you 5% broker B because from the original 50 million nagtawaran na we close deal only 38 million, no? So hope we sacrifice, you sacrifice also. So relationship is sufficient, no? Kahit magkapatid pa yan, magpinsan pa yan, minsan without black and white nagkakagulo pa, di ba? Ang daming will na kino-contest pa. So reality, it is not, no? So we need to be careful, we need to be transparent, we need to be black and white in all our transaction. Okay? But again, I understand, tao lang tayo, minsan nagkamali tayo, minsan we trust talaga other people, no? But dapat ma-mitigate lang natin. Kaya that's our topic tonight. Okay? So, what authority to sell actually does to us? It defines the price. Magkano ba the presyo? magkano ba yung PF natin in this transaction? What is the duration of our exclusivity or our ATS? What's the scope of our work? No? Are we allowed? Ito very important. Are we allowed in our ATS to market their property online? Dapat kasama yan. Kasi nagkaroon ako ng problema na the property owner ayaw pala niyang i-advertise online kasi mahiya siya na makalaman ng mga kapitbahay niya sa isang Class A subdivision na nagbebenta siya ng property. Okay? Kuha mo? So, very careful tayo. Nangyari yan ha. I'm on the buyer side. I'm collaborating with my fellow broker from Serep. So, we're selling a Class A house on lot inside a Class A subdivision. So, silent yung ATS. Wala nakasulat na bawal, wala din nakasulat na pagdating paano i-market. So, syempre we have our MLS sabi ng co-broker ko, Sam, help me market this one. Sabi niya, yeah, pero being sa Class A subdivision, Sam, careful ka lang sa pag-advertise, lalo na the facades. Okay, I will not use my facades. So, what I use, just the generic na rooms or sala. I think I use only 4 photos on that inside. 2 days after somebody called me up. Yeah, nagpakilala siya yung property owner and who's authorizing me to etc. advertise his property. Sabi ko, I have extended collaboration with broker Charlie for your property. So kilala naman niya si Charlie. So tinawagan niya si Charlie, then Charlie called me up na ipa-stop marketing, remove the photos. Bakit? She don't want na malaman ng mga kapitbahay niya, kumpare niya na she's selling. Wala naman akong in-advertise facades. Kasi malaman nila kasi nakapasok na daw sa bahay niya during party, networking. So, ganoon lang, no? So, okay. So, that's a good story. At least you know, no? So defines representation rights. Okay, dapat malinaw everything, especially na yung minsan sa ATS may probensya may ginagamit na OP. I don't give commission, kayo nang bahala mag-overprice. So that's a case-to-case basis but very careful kasi karamihan sa overprice nasagasaan during negotiation. So sabihin natin Roland, kasi Roland, nandun uso ang overprice eh. Okay, Roland being sold 300 peso lang per square meter. Nagkataon na alam ng ahente tsaka broker na market price there is 600. So nag-overprice sila nag-start sila 600 and they able to close deal 500. Pero on the time nagbayaran na nag-meeting na yung buyer seller, sabi ng seller, wow, ang laki ng tubo nyo kita 200, amin 300, and then we gonna split it pa sa among 7 of us children. So bottom line, kaya nyo palang ibenta ganyan, so hindi natuloy yun. They did not honor that one kasi ang laki pala ng kita. So nalaman tuloy ng buyer na nag-overprice ng 200 yung ano. So that's another story. Another angle naman is this. Hinayaan sila mag-overprice, 300 ulit, sample tayo ha, then they market at 350. So very conservative, tama lang, no? But what's the worst thing happen lang? During negotiation, kailangan ng pera ng seller. So nagkasundo 250. Nasaan na yung overprice? Nawala, di ba? So they negotiated for 5%. Wala, binigyan lang sila ng 3%. So, yun. Nasagaan overprice, buti binigyan pa ng 3%. Okay? So, dapat clear doon. So, again, ETS, it protect both seller and broker para walang away in the long run. Okay. Nagkaroon ako ng another case. Sabihin natin, this property was kumbaga may ATS yung isa kong co-broker. She is the listing broker. And then, since I have a buyer looking for a waterfront property in the Toledo area, So, this broker collaborate with me. So, meron siyang ATS. So, nung nalaman, we market that one to then I also advertise. So, a week after, I got a love letter from a lawyer. The love letter, so who authorized me to market the property? They are not selling. Sabi nga, yung client niya is not selling the property. Bakit daw namin binibenta? Sabi ko, we have an ETS, ma'am, from this, kaano ba ito ng client mo? Bakit pariho apelido? Doon lang ko nalaman na magkapatid pala apat ang owner sa property na 2 hectares. Tsaka yung apat, divided into 2. The 2 willing to sell. Yun yung nagbigay ng ETS sa co-broker ko. But the remaining 2, ayaw magbenta. Kaya, internally among siblings, may dispute pa sila that they need to address properly. So sabi nga, you are advertising the whole property, but not all property na 2 hectares is for sale. Yes, they are selling, but alin ba dyan? Saan ba dyan yung property nila? Your photos and your is showing na you're selling the whole area. So until we address among us children and do extrajudicial partition properly, their side and our side, maybe that's the time you can start advertising, go back on selling their property. But for the meantime, stop selling and withdraw your ads. So, andun, tsaka may warning pa. Di ba? Okay. So, marami pa ako mga na-experience ganyan. And good thing na lang, I'm on the buyer side. So, on the seller side, I was shelled by another co-broker. That's why I am sharing this because we are in the MLS. What if now I have co-broker in San Fernando, I have co-broker in Mexico, I have co-broker in Republic of Bohol, I'm co-broker in Metro Manila. Suddenly, the same problem happened just because nakulangan tayo sa proper due diligence. Is lalo na sa interview process, lalo na yung kausap natin, di nagsalita, nagsabi ng totoo. Kaya nga sa ATS ko, again, hot tips ko to. Based on my experience, I put already part of my ATS award. Kumbaga, how did I word that one? Parang ganito na ako, seller owner of the property, or we, the seller owner of the property, certify that we all 100% selling our property. Kasi then that's part of the wording on the ATS. Pero there's a legal word tama dyan ha. Para lang, pag nagkaroon ng ganong klaseng accident na sinabi ko earlier, I can always show, ma'am, akala kasi namin all siblings are okay kasi based on our ATS, binanggit ni Mr. Juan de la Cruz, kapatid mo na, ito permado niya ma'am na lahat daw kayo are in the unanimously agreed to sell the property. So, nag-misrepresent pala yung kuya nyo. Okay, so at least may idea lang tayo. So, anong pinagkaiba ng open type listing tsaka exclusive listing? 'Di ba? Very common natin sa Pilipinas, we're using open type listing. So, it has a multiple brokers. Price is inconsistent. Bakit ba? Kasi iba-iba binigyan ng 300. So, yung iba nag-price 350, yung iba nag-price 400, yung iba nag-price ng 400, 500, yung iba nag-price ng 320. So, inconsistent, no? So, competition come in. Weak positioning. Open listing create competition. If you put your price 400, suddenly nakita ni buyer, search San Fernando, Roland, the same address. Why you some put 400? Why this broker A put 350 lang pala, nag-overprice ka pala. So, parang, let's not deal some, mahal, nag-overprice pala yan. So, open listing create competition, tsaka nakasira minsan ng pangalan, no? But, how about exclusive listing? That is the big challenge kasi mahirap saan magkuha ng exclusive listing. Yes, mahirap if you don't know how to package yourself. If you don't have a value-added proposition to gain the trust to sign an exclusive listing. So, Pag-usapan natin yan muna ang benefit ng exclusive listing before I'll share you something. How to get exclusive listing.
Sir, excuse. Hindi ka po naririnig, sir.
Okay? Let's do test mic 1, 2, 3. I can hear my voice in my other screen. Double check, please. Okay, let's do type number 5. If you can hear me loud and clear, type number 5. Okay, I think check lang yung mic nyo sa mga hindi nakarinig. Okay, I think loud and clear tayo dito. Thank you. Let's continue. Okay, so let's go back to exclusive listing, controlled exposure, and then clear negotiation channel, professional image, stronger cooperation, collaboration. Say this line again. Exclusive listing, create cooperation. So pag-usapan natin yan. Nakuha ni broker A ng kasama niyang ahente ang exclusive listing ng property. Ngayon, after they perform due diligence, yung presyo na binigay niya na 400 peso per square meter, yun ang ginamit and she shared it to the MLS. And then, hindi siya takot kasi exclusive siya. So, one posted to MLS, another co-broker grab it and advertise it also left and right. Diba? Malinis, clear, black and white, consistent. So, when a buyer see, parihong presyo. Pagandahan na lang ng tagline, hook, content, call to action, photos. No? So, doon na lang competition. But content-wise, pariho. Tsaka, it helps create collaboration ng madali. Okay? So, again, ganito. I will share you paano to get an exclusive listing. Halimbawa, property owner, I'm broker Samuel Lau. So, your property was introduced to me by my researcher agent A. Being the supervising broker, I'm here. We set an appointment with you last week. So with the initial document that you presented to us, after I do some presentation, everything ganito. Okay, by the way, allow me to present to you how we're going to market your property. So based on your property, I studied this is a residential property. So number one, we have our database already of a regular buyer for residential lot for build and sell or mga mini project site. Okay. Number two, ma'am, I gonna advertise it also in a social media, especially in our MLS website for all co-brokers nationwide, not only in Cebu, but also in national. So I am not the only broker will be advertising. I want you to know that I'm not the only broker advertising your property in the net. But hundreds of co-broker ko, tulong-tulong kami na mag-market on your property. But since you give me a 5% commission, that is your only expenses because doon na sa 5% commission kami maghahati 50-50. So ngayon po, Mr. Property Owner, I gonna schedule another round of photo shoots and video and then to get a professional shot para we can use for our MLS advertising and share it to fellow brokers. So we can screen kumbaga, you must have a line na lang of checklist para hindi ka na malimot kung ano yung salita. Pagdating po sa screening of buyer, we will screen it kung profiling also the buyer. So we will not, kumbaga, hindi ka namin papahirapan lahat ng inquiry dito sa amin dadaan. Lahat ng co-broker dito sa amin dadaan, we screen it and we will only go back to you with a written letter of intent. Hindi yung puro verbal. Okay? So in return po, with all this time, effort, and money we're gonna spend, hingin ko lang po ang exclusivity namin for the next 6 months. So, but I will do a reporting to you progress of our marketing every month. And then, if we cannot deliver a sales within 6 months, then you are open to negotiation. Either you continue my service for another 6 months or open the listing to other. Okay? So, honestly, you just keep on practice and you just put into, kumbaga, your art of presentation to solicit an exclusive listing. So, again, you need to address this question. why am I going to give you that exclusive listing? Okay? Why am I going to give you that exclusive listing? Okay? So, by the way, may nagsusulat lang sa ano natin, no? So, allow me to stop share din, ay share back ko para lang maging malinis ito, no? Saglit lang ito. So, please don't write in our screen, ha? Okay. Stop share muna ako, then share screen ulit ako. Ayan, malinis na. So, okay, please type number 3 if you can see my screen now. And you can hear me loud and clear. Okay, thank you. Let's continue. So, commission dispute. How disputes happen? No written authority. Buyer introduced, but the owner bypassed the broker. Again, ha? Buyer introduced, but the owner bypassed the broker. Or sometimes the buyer bypassed the broker. Pwede din yan. Co-broker confusion. Undefined sharing agreement. Preventable with structure. So ano yung preventable all this problem, no? I will share you something. Nangyari ito recently. Just like co-broker tayo. Okay? I advertise, nangyari ito ha, I advertise Baguio property. Nagkaroon ako ng leads from Baguio property. So, syempre yung buyer ko from Baguio, pwede siyang dumiretso doon sa listing kasi alam niya yung lugar because nandun yung photo, everything. So, ngayon, anong ginawa ko? I registered in advance my client. First, number one, ganito lang naman yun, di ba? In the MLS, in your leads, may nag-inquire in your property, buyer, prospect buyer, sabihin mo, okay, thank you for your interest. By the way, thank you for your interest of my advertised property. Okay, so I will validate it first kung available pa itong property, no? So I called up broker A in Baguio. Broker A, is it still available? The property kasi may nagtanong, may nag-inquire. Sinabi, okay. Sige, broker A, by the way, I'll make a formal introduction to you with my buyer. Sulat ako. Binalikan ko muna si buyer. Mr. Buyer, congratulations, the commercial property is still available. So, when do you want to schedule property viewing? So, my co-broker, our listing broker, sinabi ko my co-broker, our listing broker in Baguio will meet you and assist you in the property viewing. Okay? Di pa niya alam na I'm Cebu-based. So, we set a schedule, everything. So, I make now a formal endorsement through email. Okay? Broker A, I am registering our client, Mr. Ong, interested to buy your commercial property XX Joe, ganito, so and so. And please kindly also offer other property as alternative, no? For other viewing. Just make it 3D. Kumbaga, property, mag extra ka ng dalawa. Now, please also, this is to reconfirm our co-broker agreement, 50-50 based on a 5% commission. Okay? Kung bibili si Mr. Ong, the client. So please CC me to all future communication yun ni Mr. Ong. So I already registered. Now, sa next email ko naman, Mr. Ong, this is email ko kay Mr. Ong, this is to formally endorse you to my co-broker, our listing broker, Mr. A from Baguio City, with mobile number so and so. Mr. A from Baguio broker from Baguio City. This is to introduce introduce you our buyer, Mr. Ong, with mobile number so and so. Please kindly coordinate directly now for Mr. Ong for the scheduled viewing tentatively set on March 18, 2024. Ganito, so and so. Please CC me all communication. Yours truly, co-broker Samuel Lau. Okay? So, ganun ka-simple. So, to move forward, we close the deal and everything ganon. Bakit ba sinabi ko na maghanda si broker A ng 2 or 3 alternative? Kasi nangyari yan ganito. Based on experience, yung na-transact na property online is warehouse A, sabihin natin. Nung nag-viewing na si listing broker, ako buyer side, hindi nagustuhan ni listing ni buyer yung warehouse A kasi flooded pala pag umuulan. Latter part, nag-offer si listing broker ng ibang warehouse. Ang sinabi, Sam, hindi natuloy yung transaction natin eh. Pero latter part, I offer another thing. Noon ko na lang naman, bumili pa sa kanya, but ibang property. Sinabi ni listing broker na hindi natin transaction to Sam kasi hindi ito sinadmit ko sa MLS. Hindi daw niya sinama sa MLS yon. So, akin lang, yes, it's true. But again, kaya kumbaga, I emphasize na in advance in my future email na kung ayaw niya sa listing broker, maghanda ka lang na ibang property ma-offer para makabili talaga si buyer sa atin. Kasi ang tina-establish ko lang, I am the one introducing the buyer to you. I trusted you as my co-broker. So kung hindi niya nabili yung property A, bumili siya sa ng ibang property, you honor our agreement. Yun pala nalaman ko kasi hinabol ko talaga yung share ko. Sam, ganito na lang. Kaya honestly, hindi ko solo yung transaction kasi yung binili niyang warehouse D, sabihin natin, 3 ways kami sa isang grupo. Hindi ko alam kung bakit nagka-3 ways sila. Okay lang naman ganito, but you need to be transparent to me. It's always Sam, honestly, si Mr. Ong hindi niya nagustuhan warehouse A. Ngayon, meron ako pinakita sa kanya warehouse B, C, D. Yung D na nagustuhan niya, Sam, honestly, hindi ko solo. Meron tayong binigyan na iba kasi hindi ko direct listing yun. So, ito yung kita lang natin. Okay ka lang ba? Ito yung sharing natin. So, honesty lang naman, transparency lang naman ang puhunan natin. So, I'm just giving you the idea. Okay? So, to avoid commission dispute. Then, yung written talaga authority, very important. I already inquired, give you example that nga, hindi pwede verbal lang. Kasi if you're representing on the listing side, and then you promise 5, suddenly, binigyan ka lang ng 3% or 2%. So, ano yung commitment mo sa broker? Nag-sign ka ng co-broker agreement, 5%, 50-50. Suddenly, nakolekta mo 2% or 3%. How are gonna share it, di ba? So, these are things, no, dapat it helps you. I mean, paano ba yun? Ayaw mag-ETS. Pag-usapan natin mamaya yan, ha? Ayaw mag-ETS. There is what we call implied ETS. Okay, so ano to? Sample lang to. Sa lahat ng mga enterprising agents and my fellow brokers, implied ETS is like this. We understand, marami tayong mga kaibigan, mga kagawad, mayor, or mga kamag-anak na, Sam, unya na lang, kuhatag ETS pag may buyer ka. Meaning, saka na ako magbigay ETS pag may serious buyer ka na. Okay, congratulations. But how are you gonna do, quote-unquote, yung mga napag-usapan nyo? Simple. Pag nag-interview process ka, you take notes. So, the location, the area, the selling price, payment of taxes, sinong magbabayad, or net, commission mo, etc., etc. Kanino i-offer yung letter of intent pag may, okay, ganito ngayon. After you take note, sabihin mo, buyer, I honestly, nag-note ako doon sa pinag-usapan natin, so I want to review. Ito ba yung location, area, presyo, selling price, commission natin, 5%, no? Tama, okay. Actually, please pakisulat nga dito printed name mo. Kanino namin i-address yung letter of intent? So please printed yung mabasa yung full name, yung contact number, yung email. Make him do the handwriting. Ganun lang naman yun. Okay, another approach, we will use that later on. Okay, another approach, text tayo ng social media, chat, or text mobile. So nandoon na yon. So what I did is after that, I email my client, Mr. Property Owner, this is to summarize what we discussed over the chat, no? So location, area, presyo, terms sa taxes, commission, etc. Please kindly review above and then freely edit. kung may mali ako. Before I will finalize my letter offer to my clients, please kindly confirm back, no? Please freely edit and confirm back. So, number 1, location, tama ba? Number 2, lot area, question mark. Number 3, taxes, sino mo ba? Question mark. Number 3, commission. So, syempre, babalik si client sa'yo, property owner, the exact price, nagkasundo kami, not 500, 400 lang, para mas mabilis mabenta. So, nag-comment siya doon. The rest, okay. Di ba parang questionnaire yun eh. Then, okay, so nag-email siya, so confirm me. Parang confirm me. Kung wala naman siyang okay siya, wala siya, sinabi niya, okay, lahat ng sinulat mo, tama yan. So, confirm yan lahat. So, nag-confirm me siya. Ang importante dito, when you start advertising, and nagsinabi siya, oh, I'm not authorizing you, sir. Oh, ito yung communication natin, oh. Mali yung presyo. Sir, oh, ito yung napag-usapan natin, oh. Pero, Sam, nasaan yung written talaga? Dito tayo babawi. Pag mayroon na tayong letter of intent, dalawa yan eh. On the seller side muna kayo. On the seller side muna, you will submit to the property owner. Property owner, no? Ganito yun. To property owner, summarizing yung mga property owner, I'm making a proposal to my client Mr. A. Then ito yung summary, and then please kindly prepared by yours truly and please kindly accept a copy. So pina-accept mo sa kanya, conform me, receive and conform me, para may kopya siya sa letter of offer mo to Mr. Buyer mo, para naman at least may kopya ka sa what I offer it to my buyer. The same time, registering to you my buyer. Kuha mo, seller side. So, it is ready, black and white. Nag-receive and confirm na siya doon sa letter offer mo to your buyer. It is a letter offer and client registration sheets, di ba? Yeah, letter offer to your buyer. Ngayon naman, on the buyer side, LOI, to reconfirm. Okay? Usually, in my letter offer to the property owner, subject letter offer to buy. Okay. Hi, Mr. Property Owner. Your property was introduced to me by my co-broker, and we view this property together with my client, Mr. Ong, so and so. And we'd like the property and we'd like to submit our offer. Please see the details below. Nandoon yung purchase price, nandoon yung terms, condition, nandoon yung seller paid, nandoon yung pangalan, seller paid taxes payable prior to the date of sale. Nandoon yung commission 5% of the selling price. Nandoon lahat. So sinulat, then prepared by, and then doon may yung iba. So please accept, and then in-accept niya, at least nilinaw mo ulit doon sa letter offer mo sinong magbabayad commission, magkano yung commission. Binalik mo doon, sinong magbabayad ng capital gain tax, sinong magbabayad ng VAT, binalik mo doon. 'Di ba? Kasi minsan seller have the rights to their number, their proposal. They wanted net. But buyer also have the rights to name their price and baliktad, I want standard. But we also have the rights to claim 5% commission. So we need to clarify that in our letter offer. Okay? Hope that helps, no? So what is this PHMLS support exclusive structure? So nabanggit ko earlier, it's so nice to get exclusive. But pag wala kang structured infrastructure to offer na organized listing, documentation, controlled broker collaboration, verified property data, professional positioning, system-based exposure. So if you want an exclusive listing, offer a structured marketing. So as I said earlier, di ba, Mr. Property Owner, this is how I'm gonna market your property. Okay, so sa dami mong sinabi, isa dyan is we have our MLS website, which is I can collaborate real time with our fellow brokers. So you show your website. Kumbaga, part of presentation na ma-amaze siya na ito po, ganito, i-advertise namin yung property mo after getting the photos, description. Tsaka pakita mo yung directory. Ito po ang numbers of brokers, co-broker ko, na tulong-tulong kaming magma-market. So the moment I upload here, it will cost me something, but of course worth it naman because you're giving me 5% commission tsaka exclusivity for 6 months, di ba? So yung 5% paghatian na namin. But once I uploaded it here, with our hundreds plus co-broker, so 100 plus subscriber website also, lalabas ang ads mo. So not only in my website, but times 100x times or times 200x times. So 100 plus broker ang tulong-tulong maghanap ng potential buyer for your property. Tsaka standardize ang pasok because kung anong sinulat ko dito, yun ang lalabas sa 100 website. So if na-feel ng property owner yung time, effort, and money exposure mo, huwag mo lang sabihin na wala ka nang binayad na advertising fee. Fix 1,000 lang yan, di ba? But you just need to justify why am I gonna issue an exclusive listing for you? Because this is it. This is it. Di ba pag na-feel mo, there is a value added effort by a broker to market your property aggressively by so many, malalaman niya na kung siya lang non-exclusive, ilan lang ba ang pwede niyang bigyan? 4, 5, 10? Kaya ba niya every now and then itong 4, 5, 10 tatawag sa kanya to get updates for scheduled viewing and everything? But using our structured property, Mr. Ong, lahat ng tawag ako na, lahat ng mga inquiry ako na, lahat ng mga hingi ng papers ako na because I am representing you. Lahat ng property viewing ako na. So I will just bother you pag may serious na kaming buyer. So hope this explained to you, no? So in summary, how much ba yung MLS sum? It's only 1,000 per month. Again, 1,000 per month. So the moment you subscribe 1,000 per month, okay, what's in it? You broker, you'll have your own website. Either you buy the websites, you need to buy it with third-party GoDaddy, no? Pangalan mo or your realty name. And we charge only one-time setup fee, 5,000. After that, straight monthly namin is only 1,000. Kasama na yan yung MLS access mo, marketing, landing site, CRM, broker profile, training, resource like every Tuesday. So you have a personal and marketing landing site. You have a 24/7 searchable MLS. Buyer can see you, broker can see you. Kahit tulog tayo, it's searchable. It's a broker-to-broker listing collaboration. So the moment you onboard, lahat ng existing listing ng mga co-broker natin na subscriber will be downloaded in your website. It become your listing. Lahat naman na in-upload mo, it become uploaded to all these 100 websites, become part of their listing. So 100 broker will help market your website. CRM, you don't need to get another subscription because kasama na dyan yung CRM sa back-end mo. Broker directory, kasama na, you can access. The training tools, downloadable real estate form, yung sabi kong co-broker form, yung LOI form, yung ATS, exclusive, kasama na yan. Nandyan na mga guides, 100 plus real estate form na it's guide for you. Multiple income channel, you can co-income, kahit tulog tayo, kahit home office lang tayo, it can help you minimize your expenses because kahit home office tayo, but your office now it's the global market na. You can make income with your co-broker. You can make income by the referral, rentals, ROPA. Because what's in our website is resale market, projects from developer, rental leasing, pati na yung mga foreclosed asset ng developer. So you don't need to be expert in the tech because zero tech. Kasama na sa 1,000 mo yung technical aspect namin, maintenance, and overhead, no? So that's it. So we also have a website for those broker na they have their own realty firm for internal use system, plug and play, para meron silang control. With their 3,000 per month, meron siyang XYG Realty principal domain, meron siyang 20 subdomain para sa mga ahente niya. Kasama na all individual websites. So 21 website, 21 email marketing. It helps recruit agents, it helps hold agent na hindi aalis kasi hindi nila bitbit yung website at email nila. So if merong buyer wanted about for internal realty nila use, we have it also in our system, no? So we are just the tech side, back end. You are not joining my realty firm. You are your own brand. You are your own firm. You can kumbaga back-end lang kami, you can white label it with your own brand, your own name, your own realty name, SEC, DTI, no? So, We just help. Kumbaga, we're here as part of our legacy to help all brokers to scale up, to minimize your expenses, to scale up your networking, not only in your locality, but you can network real time now with your co-broker nationwide, because our MLS create a digital bridge, real-time collaboration. So the more broker joining our community, it is growing your business. If we have a broker joining in Dipolog, we are now open to do business. We are all now open to do business in Dipolog, because if we send buyer in Dipolog, that broker will handle our deal, closing, viewing, everything. Vice versa, we can now have inventory from Bacolod, because that broker will upload inventory for sale from Dipolog. So the more broker joining our community, the more our community expanding, the more our collaboration expanding, more broker, more inventory, more marketing arms, more closing. Okay, hope it's so easy, no? The C, every new broker, it's not competition. Every new broker now, it's our collaboration. Okay? So, it is not about selling fast, pabilisan. It is about selling, being protected by the proper practice. Professional brokerage begin the moment you start posting, before you start posting. What I said, the proper due diligence, the proper validation, the proper ETS. So Q&A tayo mamaya. Okay? So how many years market before completing validation? Yung market na kaagad, hindi pa na-complete yung validation. Meaning, have you checked certified copy? Have you secured certified copy before you market? Have you validated everything? You can answer that mamaya, no? How many here use written authority 100%? Of course, I'm also guilty for that, no? I'm using implied ETS iba. Who here's experienced a commission dispute before? I'm also guilty for that, no? Because, yun na nga, yung mga dati kong co-listing broker, may problema. That's the reason I have this legacy to share my experience para lahat tayo subscriber in our community, tulong-tulong tayo to help scale up our knowledge, no? Either you do business with me or you do business with other broker. What's important, nag-scale up yung knowledge natin. Kasi puro theory tayo, kulang yan, no? Kulang. Ang dami na natin dyan, mga 5 years, 10 years, 15 years, 30 years in practice. But if you are not sharing your knowledge, what is legacy you're giving to other broker? No? What's important here, we learn. Sooner or later, givers gain. I believe in that, no? So if you cannot protect your listing, you cannot protect our commission. Baka tayo ang maging partner. That's why I'm sharing you it para protected yung listing, so that when I collaborate with you or they collaborate with you, protected yung kita natin. So we can raise all our standard and operate in a structured, no? So lahat tayo na sa MLS, we honor 50-50. Kahit 3 kayo, kahit 5 kami na bahala dito, kayo na bahala dyan. Kahit may mga ahente-ahente ako dito, as long they're working under me and I supervise them and I'm the broker on record with my team. And sa kanila naman, from Bohol, there's a broker on record on that transaction because I only deal with broker, vice versa. And that would be my panawagan. If we have a client for Bohol or Palawan, we look for a broker. Pag may ahente nagbigay ng listing from Palawan, endorse it with a broker in Palawan para broker from Palawan will do the validation and before he upload it in our MLS. Or else, pag ikaw, kinakaya-kaya mo, what if nagkamali yung property in Palawan? Who's the liable? That ahente or ikaw ang licensed broker from Cebu? That ahente in Bohol or ikaw licensed broker from Palawan? Kaya, it's very safe, deal with licensed broker. Let all those accredited ahente to work with the nearest broker in their town, in their place, para, okay, sabihin, may nag-alok sa akin, Palawan Beach property, ang ganda. Sabi ko, I'll endorse you to my colleague broker in Palawan. Okay? When I endorse it to June, okay, once you call, but the validate mo na June, then you upload it on our MLS. So, not only me selling that one, all of us helping selling everybody. Okay? So, disclaimer, lahat ng share ko dito is based on learning lang for educational purpose, no, for so discussion does not replace our independent legal advice. Does not participants are still encouraged to consult qualified legal professionals, licensed juridic engineers, tax experts when handling specific property transaction. PHMLS operates as a broker collaboration and structured listing platform. All transactions remain subject to the compliance with our Philippine real estate law and regulation. So, a little reminder next week, next Tuesday, ang topic natin March 10, tama ba? Yeah. So, tama ba? Yeah, March 10. Okay, my global market protect brokers with MLS and what to check before you collaborate. So MLS and smart collaboration yung topic natin. So in this session, you will learn how MLS became the global standard, why cooperation increased deal velocity, the hidden risk of careless collaboration, 5 things you must verify before co-brokering, how structured system protect broker. So in a global market, don't compete blindly. They cooperate under structure. So, it's a little continue to kasi 8 series to eh. So, 8 weeks, no? So, maganda din yung next. So, ito yon, no? So, week 3 would be, week 2, next week, yan na yun, MLS Smart Collaboration. You can screenshot this one. Week 3 would be handling difficult listing. Selling with multiple ears, managing informal settlers professionally. Week 4, legal and structural risk, preventing boundary disputes, selling corporate-owned properties. Week 5, advanced selling strategy, how to sell to developers, how to sell to investors. Week 6, protection and fraud, avoiding fake sellers' identity, preventing commission dispute. Week 7, brokerage growth, passive income, active versus passive income for broker, setting up your own realty office. Week 8, master level brokerage, selling difficult properties like with easement problem restriction, how to prevent deal. So so this is the whole topic we have for the month of March and April. So this is not just a training, no? This is building a professional standard for all of us brokers and agents here in the Philippines. PHML is the system that supports that standard because we want our co-broker, everything here, to skill up our profession. Either you deal with us or deal with other, at least nakatulong tayo. And this is just an extended invitation. Sa gusto lang, no? Thursday, this coming Thursday, I'm gonna have another class for my team, but I'm inviting other broker na may mga ahente na doing project selling. Or yung broker also specialized project selling. This is good topic for us, no? Project selling mastery from reservation to title transfer. So what is it? You will learn on Thursday if you join how to properly read and explain a developer's price list, understanding terms, discount, and hidden charges, step-by-step sample computation, reservation DP, complete document flow, the clear difference between CTS and DUAS, how to handle payment defaults and situation, how Maseda law protect buyer and what the agent must know. So this session is designed to build our brokers, agents focusing into project selling mastery, no? To be more competent, confidence, and add credibility on project selling. So instead of doing it as closed type training for my realty firm, I'm opening it to all of you here, lalo na yung wanted to master also project selling.